Hey, Adele here, coming to you live from Denver. Would you like to know one of the top three mistakes that intuitive, psychic, sensitive people make? And maybe you are one of them. Most of the people in my tribe are in some way. We're all sensitive, we're all intuitive, and with this ability or sensitivity, there comes a mistake. And one of the top ones is, well, let me just tell you what it feels like. So I'm in a room full of people, business leaders. A lot of them are sensitive, intuitive. And one gets up and says, I can walk into a room and instantly read everyone there. I know exactly what everyone's feeling. I can feel it. And I know what that person needs. Okay. Have you found yourself thinking or feeling that, right? Because you have this gift, and yeah, maybe you do feel where other people are coming. Maybe you do have a sense. But the question I want to ask you is, how do you know how accurate you are? What is your feedback for finding out how on target you are? It's kind of like, as I sat and listened to this woman, she's saying, well, I know what everyone's feeling the minute I meet them. I'm like, you don't know. Do you have any idea how I feel right now? You know how you think I feel, but it's very presumptuous for you to say that you know how I feel. And there's a little bit of an egoic flavor to that. Now, we've all done this as sensitive people. We think we're right? And let's say we're 50% right, 70% right, or maybe we're right on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we suck on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What my point is, nobody knows how other people accept that other person. I don't care how intuitive you are, how gifted you are, even the best psychics in the world will tell you they're only about 70 or 80% correct. So don't kid yourself. What is your feedback for knowing if you're on or not? The only way to know is to ask how that person's really feeling. This is a roundabout way of saying the more gifted and sensitive and intuitive and whatever you are, reading people's auras, the more likely you are to be guilty of making assumptions, presumptions about where that other person is. And be real here. There is a high likelihood you're not completely right. And so that's already changing your vibration on how you are with them, right? Because you've already presumed where that other person is. Already, the magic of the possibility of the moment is gone. That person hasn't even done anything, and you're already presuming you know exactly how that person feels, exactly how that other person, what they need. It's very presumptuous, and it's because you're using your intuitive, psychic sensitivity, right? So I'm not talking about throwing out your gift. We all have gifts, but get real. I have seen this happen, especially with gifted people, that the more gifted you are, the more presumptuous or assumptions you make because you don't know your own accuracy. And if the top people in the world, whoever they are, at best, they are only about 70 or 80% accurate. That means there's a high likelihood that you are at least 30% wrong. And you won't even know it. So instead of trying to guess or scan the room and say that you know how everybody there feels because you're so gifted, my challenge to you is, what would happen if you just stay in a present state of, I don't know? You can get the information that's useful information. I do it all the time with clients. And I have to be very careful because I don't really know. I have an idea. I have some information. But the only way to really know where someone's at is to ask. Because nobody likes being written off or, oh, Adele, I know how you feel even before you've told me. or I know how you feel even before you've said anything. It doesn't feel good. I had a coach once who did this, who would take one look at me, and I hadn't even finished asking my question. And this person said, I know exactly what you're thinking. I'm like, no, you don't. You really don't. And when I asked him what he thought I was about to say, he was wrong. Okay? So do you and all your friends and significant others the gift of staying curious. And yes, you are gifted. That doesn't mean you know everything. Yes, you're sensitive. But notice that there's a trap of thinking you know how other people feel and how that changes your interaction with them. So, what do you think of that? So, if this resonates with a lot of your friends who maybe subconsciously do this because they're just trying to help, right? Forward this to them. Just remind them that with every gift comes a certain awareness of how it can be useful and how it can really wreak havoc, especially if your friends are sensitive too, and both people are scanning the other person and thinking they know what's going on. Oh my gosh, it really becomes a hot mess sometimes. And people leave feeling not really heard. And they're trying so hard, right? I have done it. And I know you have too. So if you think this be useful for your other sensitive, psychic, intuitive friends, or just people who tend to make assumptions, forward this to them. Because if we could all notice how we do this, I bet the quality of our relationships would improve immediately with no effort. Our tendency to take everything personally or to think we know because we're psychic, oh, my goodness. Like I said, with every gift comes more responsibility, with more awareness. How aware are you of, do you even know how accurate you are? So anyway, I have a gift coming out, that's full of tips like this, how to develop better relationships with people when you have gifts. Maybe you feel like you're sick of talking about superficial stuff. Maybe you feel like people don't understand you. If that sounds good to you, send me a DM. I'll send that to you. And until next time, thanks.